when you sold Micro Solutions for a couple $1 million, I read that
$6 million. Don't push it down.
$6 million.
I got a couple million out of it, yeah.
But that's nothing, right, compared to now.
It's a lot, trust me, even now.
But you took that money and then you invested it into other technology stocks that you knew, and then you took that and then went from broadcast.com and then boom, you know, everything. What were those stocks that you invested in? So we teach our kids kind of the Peter Lynch adage, invest in what you know.
Yeah.
And I think you took that.
And that's exactly what I did. I mean, look, I spent 7 years installing local area networks, writing software, doing wide area networks, and so I knew what a router, you know, which companies' routers worked and didn't work, which companies' bridges and software worked and didn't work, which products were selling, which products weren't. And so I used that to my advantage because back then it was a little bit easier because there weren't as many people, there weren't as many analysts covering everything, right? And so all these huge hedge funds, once they saw that I was killing it, they were like, okay, we're going to talk to this guy, and literally took my trading experience. I was making 85, 100% a year, and created a hedge fund out of it. And and then we just immediately sold it. So it turned out really well. But I did that now, and I'm telling you, the Peter Lynch experience is going to be interesting in terms of, okay, where do you shop, what do you do, what websites do you go to? But if you take the time to learn computer vision, neural networks and everything, that's how all the decisions are going. A lot of the decisions are going to be made, but all decisions are going to be influenced. And so if you really want to get to that point, you know, if you look at some of the hottest stocks right now, NVIDIA, AMD, they're blowing up because of their ability to create processors that are geared towards artificial intelligence and supporting the data centers. If you look at what's happening with Amazon, you know, I own a lot of Amazon stock because they are the most advanced in using all these things I've been talking about. You know, Netflix, you know, they started 10 years ago by using their versions of artificial intelligence back then to try to determine what's the best way to help guide people through choosing content. Through the whole discovery, they had $1 million contest. And so, you know, artificial intelligence is going to eat the world. And so the Peter Lynch approach is great, but you have to be where the decision, you have to understand that, right? Which
is not an easy industry.
No, and plus the other problem is there's a lot fewer companies going public these days, right? Back when we went public 20 years ago, there were 9,000 companies that were public. Now there's under 4,000. And so there's more money chasing fewer choices, which is good in some respects, but you know, it's good because all that money helps push the indexes up, right? Lots of money, fewer stocks, you know, so you don't have as many choices. But it's bad in that there aren't as many new companies coming out where you can say, okay, you know, so-and-so is going public. I know that company, most other people don't, and that might give me an edge in my investing.
Right, your Ubers and your Airbnb.
And Snapchat, right? Snapchat's supposed to go public, Airbnb and Uber. And okay, so let's talk about big time screw ups in investing. So there's a guy named Travis Kalanick, right? And he had a company called Red Swoosh. And I invested in it and we sold it and we made a little bit of money. His next company, he emails me, he's got this thing called Uber Cab. And he's like, you should invest in this, Mark. I'm like, I like it. It's a great idea. You're going to run into some resistance from all the taxi cab companies and all the transportation folks in different cities that are going to hate you. So, you know, I like the idea, but I don't like the way you're pricing it. Never heard back from him again. Now, that's my problem with Travis personally, but obviously it turned into Uber. And so sometimes you make it and sometimes you miss them. But